Ever felt stuck because your transactions data doesn't fit into the standard formats that trackers expect? Whether you keep your investments at an obscure broker, maintain custom spreadsheets, or pull data from various websites, I will show you how Capitally can import virtually any financial data format you throw at it. In the next few minutes, you will learn how to turn messy tables into a clean, organized portfolio, and no programming required. You can use Excel files, spreadsheets, tables from websites, JSON files, basically anything with data in it. Let's start by opening a sample file with some transactions. Since we don't have a matching preset for this file, we click Import Any Data. First, we need to tell the app where our data is. In this case, it's simple. We have a file without any additional rows. But sometimes you might have rows with account information or a summary. That's when you would want to tell the app where to start and end reading the data. You can also specify if there is or isn't a header row. For our file, we are using everything from start to finish. There are some extra settings you might need sometimes. Like, if you see weird-looking letters, you might need to change the encoding, or you might need to specify how dates are formatted. In our file, it's year, month, day, but usually the automatic setting works fine. Click Next, and now we need to tell the app what kind of data this is. Looking at it, we can see buys, sells, and dividends, so clearly these are transactions. The app already tried to figure out what each column means, and it's done pretty well. There's no template you need to follow here. You can see two tables now, one showing what will be imported and one showing the original input. Let's check if everything matches up correctly. First, we need to pick an account. Since there is no account info in the file, we'll create one. Let's call it My Broker and give it an icon. For assets, we can use either the ISIN column or the symbol column, your choice. We could also set a single asset for every row, but since each row has different assets, we will use the symbol column in this case. We can limit which markets we are looking at. I see these are all from American markets. If we wanted, we could specify Nasdaq, NYSE and ARCA and we'll match symbols in this order of preference. But we don't need to. Let's check the transaction details. The type is in the transaction column, showing buys, sells and dividends. The date is correct too. We've got fees in the fee column. Now, this file is a bit tricky with currencies. It doesn't have a specific currency column, but it uses currency symbols. Capitally is smart enough to figure this out. We can tell it to look for currency info in the price or value columns. Or if we know everything is in USD, we could just set that directly as well. For tax already paid, we've got the withheld tax column. The buy-sell quantity and price columns are matched correctly, and for dividends, the value is in the value column. If you need more complex options, there is an advanced mode that gives you total control. It's what we use to build the broker presets in the app. But the simple mode is more than enough for many cases. Click Next, review that the assets are correct, and you will get an import summary. You can save this as a preset, super helpful if you will be importing similar files in the future. You can add instructions for yourself about how to create the file too. If I save it like that, it will be available under the Other group. You can edit any of the presets. You can modify the logic or rename it by clicking Save. If I set the provider name and change the group, my preset will now be showing up in the Brokers group and I can have multiple presets under a single icon. Now, let's look at importing balances. This is great if you are just starting out and don't want full history, or if you want to import cash account balances from time to time. The process is similar. Tell it where the data starts and ends. Pick account balances as the type. You will need to specify which column has the account names, tickers, and balances. For the date, you can either use a column if you have multiple dates, set a specific date, or pick a relative date, today and yesterday. So every time I use the preset, the balances will be updated for yesterday. As we are not updating the market price, you can remove that field and click Next. Now it tells you it cannot find these three accounts. No problem, we just need to create them for the first time. Let's make our cash, crypto, and investing accounts. Now everything looks good. You can see the account balances matched with the right accounts and assets. Let's do a quick review and we are done. Finally, let's look at importing prices. If you have a custom asset and want to add price history, it's pretty straightforward. Open your prices file, tell it where the data is, select Asset Price History, pick your asset, and match up the date and price columns. You click Next, Import, save the preset if you want, and all the prices are now nicely imported and you can see them in the Assets Prices tab. And that's it! You now know how to import any kind of data into Capitally. Thanks for watching.